Happy morning, children. I hope you are all good. In today's session, we are going to have a continuation of the last class, right? We are studying about how we move ourselves. Yes or no? Yeah. So, what is the chapter number? Yeah, it is chapter 8. So, what is the name of the chapter? Body movements. How do the different parts of our body move? How human beings and animals are able to move from one place to the other place, right? And one more thing, these are the content which we had discussed in the last session. Today we are going to see a new topic, that is gait of animals. In the last session we had completed the introduction, what is meant by movement, locomotion, types of movement, ball and socket joints, pivotal joints, hinge joints, and then fixed joints. I had given you a homework yesterday, right? So for the fixed joints question, I'll tell you the answer. Not only enough to write the explanation or the definition of fixed joint. In that question, you need to write everything about skull, pelvic bone, shoulder, rib cage, and then carpals. You need to write all these points, and one more thing is backbone, right? You need to write all these in that fixed joints question. Clear, children? Take your hints note, write today's date, and start the session. So, before entering into today's class, we are going to have a short recap of what we had discussed in the last previous session. First thing is introduction. So, you all know very well what is mean by movement and locomotion. Isn't it, children? Yeah. Locomotion is nothing but movement of an entire body organism from one place to the another place. But movement is nothing but change in posture or position or place of a body is called as movement. And human beings, animals move in search of food, but plants are able to prepare their own food, so they do not locomote, but they move. When the air blows, the parts of plant moves. That is, the leaves or the branches moves. Next thing, this is the definition of movement. The act or process of moving and especially changing in place or position. And kinesiology is the study of movements and types of movement. Muscular movement. Yeah, in muscular movement, we don't have any bones, muscles. But whereas in the case of non-muscular movements, we don't have, children, in muscular movement, there is the action of movements of bones and muscles is required. But in non-muscular movements, we don't have any muscles and bones. We don't have any bones there. We studied that about the non-muscular movement in case of microscopic organism like amoeba, euglena, paramecium, hydra. So there are unicellular organisms and they can be seen only under with the help of microscope. Amoeba possess amoeboid movement, euglena possess flagelloid movement. Clear? And then movable joints. Before that we had seen what is mean by bones, what is mean by muscles, joints, and then one more thing, in the last session I tell you what is mean by, what is it? Yes? Okay, I'll tell you later. You just recall that, okay? Movable joints are nothing but ball and socket joints. We have two types of joints in our body. One is the movable joints and the second thing is, what is it? And the second thing is fixed joints. Movable joints can move. That is, they can change in posture. But whereas fixed joints do not move. Under the movable joint, there are three categories. They are ball and socket joints, pivotal joints, and then hinge joints. Ball and socket joints. Yes, they can rotate in an angle of 360 degree. They are very free to move. So these ball and socket joints are found in our shoulder and then in our waist region. So the largest bone in our body is femur bone, that is the thigh bone, is connected to the waist region. Yes, we have done this activity also. And what is this? This is the femur bone which is attached to the pelvic region. We have 650 muscles, 187 joints, and one more thing is human beings have 206 bones. Our bones are made up of, very good, calcium. And then newborn babies have more than 300 bones. And then pivotal joint. What is this pivotal joint? The joint which is present in the region of our neck to head, where the neck region is connected to our head, right? So this joining is called as pivotal joints or trochoid joint. And ball and socket joint is also called as spheroidal joint. And it can move freely. Next thing is hinge joints. So it allows the movement of bones only in one direction. It allows the movement of bone only in one direction, like this, front and back, or up and down. Only one movement of the bones are allowed. Next thing is fixed joint. This is the topic which we had discussed while writing the answer for the question. First, write down the definition of fixed joint. Okay. So you can write this definition also, not a problem. Otherwise, go through your book and write down. Some of our joints, like those in our skull, are fixed and don't allow any movement. So this is the definition for fixed joint. Okay. And then you need to write about the, what is this? First skull. And then shoulder bones, backbone, rib cage, pelvic bone. And then carpals. These are all the points which you have to write in fixed joints. Okay. So what is this? The bones are connected to form the skeleton system of our body. Right. First thing is skull. So the skull acts as a helmet for our brain. And then what is the function of bones, children? Yeah. Bones helps in protecting the internal organs of our body, that is one point. And the second thing is they give a shape to the body. And the third one is they helps in the protection of blood cells. So these are all some of the points about bones. And then this rib cage. We have how many pairs of rib cage? Totally 12 pairs, 24 bones. 12 pairs and then 24 bones. So we have in that rib cage, we have three categories. One is true cage, and then true ribs, false ribs, and then floating ribs. Have you noted all these, children? True ribs, false ribs, and then floating ribs. Yes, these floating ribs, look at here. So these bones are not connected to any other thing. So they are called as floating ribs, these last two. Okay. And the third thing, what is the third thing? Shoulder bones. Okay. And the next thing is backbone. What is it? Backbone. So which helps us to stand erect. And then pelvic region. And the last thing is carpals. So we have many small bones here. We have many small bones which are connected in the carpals. So how can we see our bones? Very good. So bones are visualized only through the X-ray images. Yes, bones do not allow X-rays to pass through them. So who invented X-rays? Yes, I can guess. William Coolidge Roentgen, or we can call it as W.C. Roentgen. He is the first to get Nobel Prize in Physics. Today this is the topic which we are going to study, that is gait of animals. What is this gait of animals? First what is mean by gait? Okay, look at here. Have a note of it. Gait is nothing but gait is a person's pattern of walking. What is it? Person's pattern of walking. So all peoples do not walk as same. Yes. So the style of walking differs from one person to the other person. It is not same for the all to walk in a same way, right? They have different styles of walking. So a gait is a pattern of limb movements made during locomotion. I will tell you what is mean by limb. Okay. So nothing but the style of walking. How do they walk? How do they move? That is called as gait. So gait is a person's pattern of walking, and otherwise, one more thing is, a gait is a pattern of limb movements made during locomotion. You know what is mean by locomotion. Okay, so look at here. So the movement is called as gait. Okay. And then I said you about limbs. So what is mean by limbs? Note it down. Limbs are the pairs of hands and legs in a human. Limbs are nothing but the legs and hands which are present are called as limbs. So in animals, hands are known as forelimbs and legs are called as hind legs. So in human beings, we used to call it as hands and then legs. So that is the limbs for human beings. What are the parts of limbs in human being? They are hands and legs. We have one pair of hands and one pair of legs. But in the animal, we used to call the hands as forelimbs and legs as hind limbs. Just note it down. Forelimbs and then hind limbs. Clear, children? Look at here. Different limbs are given here. This is for human beings. That is our hands. And these limbs are for cat. This is for whale, bat, and these are all for birds. Limbs are nothing but hands and legs are called as limbs. And here, so what is this? Gait is a pattern of limb movement. What is that limb movement? Limb movement is nothing but limb. What is that limb? The hands and legs. The movement of hands and legs made by during the process of locomotion is called as gait. The movement of hands and legs. We used to shake our hands while walking, right? So the movement of hands and legs while walking or moving is called as gait of animals. That is called as gait. Here, gait is a pattern of movement of limbs of animals. So here we are going to study about the gait of animals. So what is this? We are going to study about different gait patterns in. First we are going to study about the earthworm. What is it? Earthworm, and then snail. The third thing is cockroach, birds, fishes. So these are all the categories which we are going to study. How do they move? What is the process involved in it? So these are all the topics which we are going to see today. So first, what is that gait? Gait is a pattern of movement of limbs. What do you mean by limbs? Limbs are nothing but hands and legs. Limbs are nothing but hands and legs. That is called as gaits of animals. So first we are going to study about earthworm. How does an earthworm move? So first, by hearing the word earthworm, what comes to your mind? They are, very good. They are friends of farmers. Isn't it, children? The earthworms are called as friends of farmers. Yes? So they enrich the fertility of the soil. The earthworm enrich the fertility of the soil with the help of waste produced by them. With the help of waste produced by them. How do they do that? So when they go into the soil, what is created? A way is created. So through that hole, the air and water enters into the soil. Okay? It allows